Gaming is culture.
You fucking whiny whore.
Gaming.
Alright, next up.
The game developers of today are just so fragile. They cry and complain about
Well, they're women or they're pretending to be women.
hate and disappointment, even as they actively do the things that they know no one will like. Yellow paint, ugly characters, failing sequels, using a woman to mocap a male character. It seems so obvious why people are mad, yet the devs are always surprised. I think it's pretty hard to not notice how bad games have gotten lately, and I think an under-discussed reason is maybe devs just kind of suck now. Everyone wants to blame corporations and boardrooms, but I know it's a crazy idea, but maybe you have to be good at something to make something good. And if you're bad, then you're gonna make something bad. Instead, people seem to have this extremely childish idea that there are all these super great and grand artists who are held back.
That's right, the heckin' wholesome Deverinos that just want to make the most Reddit Quirk Chungus approved video game experiences ever. And it's the evil corporations that hold them back. You know, it's random boardroom executives that make the games suck, not the actual people making them. Isn't that interesting? You know, if you go to fucking Applebee's and your hamburger comes out and it tastes like fucking shit, do you blame the chef or do you blame the CEO of the company who probably never even touched a single ingredient that went into that hamburger? I think you'd probably blame the chef, right? So, the same logic doesn't apply to game developers for whatever fucking reason.
By society. And if only they could do whatever they want, we'd have the greatest games ever made. Well, all you have to do is take one look at Twitter to know they are doing what they want. They just suck. They're bad at it. Because in order to get good at something, you can't just go to college and get a title or have someone tell you you're good. You have to actually fail and improve. And the modern game developer cannot accept failure, no matter how obvious it is. The most recent example being the new Wolverine game, which looks like complete ass, contains some of the most lazy, tired game design that's been complained about by everyone for years, and yet still, the developers don't blame themselves. They don't even blame the corporations or restrictions. No, they blame the media platforms because they believe themselves to be gods of their world. They're the game developer and you're the lowly player. You don't know what you want. The player is far too stupid to chase what's directly in front of them. They need a red line to follow. Now, if you're stupid enough to keep buying this dog shit, maybe they're right, but it's on principle that it's bad game design, that there are certainly more creative ways of drawing a player's attention than yellow paint. But you can't tell the devs this. You can't tell them that they're even capable of improvement. You can't tell them what you want because that's harassment, and harassment is illegal. Well, maybe I'm feeling harassed. If someone was throwing feces into your face all the time, I would consider that harassment. And having to look at and play these shit-ass games, that might be even worse. Not that any real harassment actually happens anyway, and even if it did, can you really blame people? Good-hearted criticism has gotten nowhere. As I said before, this whole yellow paint fiasco has been going on for years, and you still see it. No, criticism has never worked. Not that harassment might work either, but at least it makes you feel better. But criticism never works because the devs already think they're masters of their craft just because they made one overhyped 7 out of 10, or even worse, they made only a series of bad games, but the industry and circle-jerking on Twitter who think devs can do no wrong tell them it's not their fault and that it's socio-economic problems or something. And if you don't believe me, one of the 3D character artists for Concord is now working on the Wolverine game. The art of that game is the most objectively bad part. Maybe you could argue the programming was good because nobody played it, but the art is visually disgusting. Nobody liked it, and it's the reason the game failed. And now mysteriously, the characters in
Well, not according to the Yong Yeah types. The Yong Yeah types continue to fucking cope over Concord, saying it wasn't the character designs, it wasn't the woke shit, it wasn't the cringy dialogue. No, no, no. It was just simply the fact that it was a hero shooter in a crowded market, guys. That's it. None of that stuff had any impact on the game failing whatsoever. It was just the fact that Overwatch was already a thing.
Wolverine look hideous too, but it's just a coincidence. It's never the dev's fault. And the funny thing is, it really doesn't even matter how obvious things are. You could make the biggest steaming pile of shit and it be 100% your fault, and they still sit there wide-eyed and dumbstruck when nobody likes it. Concord even, they blamed not themselves for making a terrible product that is obviously terrible. You can just look at it. It's one of the most maligned things in gaming history, and still they go on Twitter blaming the algorithm for negative discourse. And they're doing the exact same thing with Wolverine. They did the exact same thing for High Guard, the last piece of dog shit that came out. It's because quality doesn't matter to these people. Outcome doesn't matter. It's all titles. They think because they have a degree or an award, it makes them better than someone who's actually successful. It's like if there's some bear hunters and there's a guy who has killed hundreds of bears in his life. He has no formal training. He's just always lived in the old country, has real experience. And there's another guy who went to college, got a degree in bear hunting, studies bears, but has never killed a bear in his entire life. In modern society, we're supposed to see number 2 is the expert, even though he got mauled to death on his last bear hunt. Anyway, this is probably the longest intro I've ever done. Make sure to like the video if you made it this far. YouTube's really mad at me right now, probably for being too mean, and this video is definitely not gonna help. So you gotta like and subscribe if you support, like harassment. Speaking of harassment, it's time to go into some real examples of this actually happening. Because the outside narrative is always just, oh, I'm receiving harassment, I'm receiving death threats for my game trailer that looks really bad, and then they never actually show anything. So I'm gonna show stuff. I wanna start off with some Frogmire only investigative journalism, because I was watching Neopets drama videos. I know, I'm really a high culture kind of guy. And I noticed the channel also made game writing content, like advice for people wanting to work in video game writing industry. And I'm not gonna give you the exact channel because I know you're gonna bully her and it's gonna get blamed on me, but I investigated this person's website because I'm like, okay, they're trying to teach other people how to write for video games. So surely they must have written for some big game that everyone likes the writing for. Now take a look at the games they worked on. Of the games I actually recognize, all of them are well known for having bad writing. It's not a secret either. It's not like a niche community of like writing nerds who hate these games. Nobody likes this shit. Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, the worst aspect of the entire game that you'll hear in almost every review is the long-winded, terribly written cutscenes. Vampire the Masquerade is famous for its writing. It's good only for that reason, and the sequel didn't even come close to that legacy, and it's why the game flopped.
We're fabulous. We're gonna live forever, and the normies are terrified of us. You're a bloodsucker, my friend. It doesn't get any more queer than that.
So how can you think you're good enough to call yourself a professional to teach other people how to do the job when you've never done it successfully a single time? You haven't even done an okay job. You've only done a bad job. Well, all you have to do is look over to the right to see why. Look at all of these awards. Who cares about what the players think? The people actually consuming the product. What matters are these meaningless awards that I don't even know what they come from. It doesn't say what they were awarded for. They just have awards. I don't mean to pick on this one person either. You see this kind of delusion everywhere. This is just an example. Bring it back to Wolverine, Insomniac's new game. This is a quote from the director and community leader at Insomniac, James Stevenson. I think the wild way this algorithm amplifies and forces negativity upon you has me reconsidering my philosophy on telling devs to look or post here. It's a relentless onslaught that I cannot believe is good for anyone's mental health, nor representative. And this tweet has so many great things to dig into. I just love the end, nor representative. Openly saying that anything negative is not representative of the greater player base. Hence why we see all this garbage still in games. They just lie to themselves. No, the gamer loves yellow paint. Mary Jane is incredibly attractive. Marvel Rivals is popular for no reason. All the noise and complaining is just bots, I guess. It's funny, you used to hear as a kid all the talk about participation awards and how it's ruining people. Well, now they're adults and they're still expecting the participation award. Except they don't think it's for participation. They genuinely think they're doing a good job. On this tweet even, you have a comment or someone saying, hey, maybe you guys should just make good games and then no one will complain. And of course, the epic Twitter clapback is a picture of a bunch of their new games that are 6 out of 10s and with the insane review inflation have been bumped up to 8s and one singular 9, which looks good if you've never played a video game before and have never been a part of video game discourse. But to anyone who's paying any attention, every game that releases gets an 8 or higher as long as it turns on. That's how low the bar is. Not to mention, all of these games are sequels to better games that they already made. It's a decline in the company that cannot be denied. And since this guy seems to care about review scores so much, those games on the PS2 also had better review scores, back when the competition was much higher too. So all of your modern releases are below standard, not below the standard of the industry, but by your own fucking company. The sheer arrogance of these people to completely deny reality. Why? Because it hurts their feelings. Their feelings are more important than what they're making, which is why everything is bad. Their first priority is not, hey, I want to make a good game. I really hope everyone enjoys this. It's, I'm great. I need to show people how great I am. And they'll deny anything to maintain that illusion. This has been going on for a while now, too. Anyone remember this?
Have you ever thought about adding servers for previous expansions as they were then?
No. And by the way, you don't want to do that either.
Remember classic WoW? For years, people were begging for old World of Warcraft because the horrible developers had ruined the game. Rather than reflect on that and improve the game, improve themselves, instead they make fun of you. And now, years later, classic WoW arrives and big surprise, everyone loves it. Now, it's certainly fallen off in popularity because you can only play the same old game so many times, especially in MMO, which is supposed to be continually updated. But when it released, it was incredibly popular. It only took them half a decade because they couldn't look past their own egos. They will always think they're the greatest bear hunters of all time, even once they get mauled and end up in the hospital. It's the bear's fault that I'm bad at my job. Want another example of the delusion? How about the Bethesda layoffs? Everyone pretending like layoffs are such a bad thing, which they definitely can be, but when the industry is entirely bloated, makes nothing but dog shit, I think a handful of firings can do some good. I think it's perfectly reasonable to think that someone who does a bad job should get fired from that job, so that someone good might have a chance. Jobs aren't a daycare. It's not a handout. It's labor for a purpose. But anyway, after the Bethesda layoffs, you had some protests going on, people upset, and what do you think these former employees were saying?
You know, we've been told that we're making great games that players love, and great games, great games, great games.
We make great great games. I don't know if you've played any Bethesda games recently, but their last 2 games, Starfield and Fallout 76, are the worst games they have ever made. And you would have to be completely delusional, ignore everything from anyone to think otherwise. And yet they have the audacity to say players deserve better. They don't give a fuck about the players. If they did, they would not have made those games to begin with. They wouldn't make a space game with no aliens and everyone is fucking ugly. You know, all of these devs who were laid off worked on one of these 2 games, by the way, because of how layoffs work. You lay off the newest employees first. This is what I mean by delusion. They completely ignore the player base, ignore every criticism they've ever received, and then lie and claim that everything they do is for the players. I know everyone thinking this way has probably already left the video because they're angry, they're mad. They're like, how dare you talk down to these poor devs? They're great at their job because, you know, everyone's good at their job. No one's bad at anything. Anyone can cook. It's just the corporations and the boardrooms that are keeping them down. The thing is, it's very easy to refute this argument when a bad game is rightfully being shit on. The devs don't say, yeah, I agree, player, it is bad. No, even if it's comically terrible, like Concord, they go out of the way to defend the game itself because that really was their best work. They don't say, no, I know I did a bad job, but it's the corporation's fault. No, they say, I did a good job. You, the player, are wrong. Also, give me money for some reason. No, this excuse of corporate greed comes well after the fact to avoid any form of responsibility as an easy way to get people on their side because the corporations are always the villain because they are the villain, but that doesn't mean there aren't other factors because no corporation is like, yeah, I know how we'll make more money by making a bad game. You can still make a good game with microtransactions or loot boxes or follows trends. No, if it is the corporation's fault, it's their fault for bad hiring practices that's incentivized by the US government and some other organizations. I've already mentioned Concord, but don't forget about High Guard. I'm sure everyone already has, but that was the other multiplayer massive failure that everyone knew was terrible before it even came out. And again, it received the exact same response where developers are blaming Twitter and negative echo chambers and how negativity is just so much more popular than positivity. Which I don't know, you have to look at my channel for about 2 seconds to realize that toxic positivity is just as prevalent on these platforms. God forbid someone not like a Pokemon game. But that aside, the story is always the same. It's not their fault. To anyone looking from the outside, it seems so absurd how they could work for years on one project and no one can see the obvious flaws, that they're about to lose tens of millions of dollars and ruin their reputations forever. But the reason why they can't see it is because they are incapable of taking any kind of criticism. They believe everything they create is great and they don't care what the player thinks at all, and this is where it leads them. The Concord, and High Guard, and Starfield, and Fallout 76, and Wolverine, and I could probably keep going on for hours and hours, but I think you get the point. And I'm not saying the players are always right and every game should be made by committee, but what I am saying is you do have to be capable of accepting objective measures. You can't make flop after flop, constantly fail at your job, and then think it's somehow not your fault. I don't know, man. I'm just saying if I make this, I would feel shame, not indignant, though I can't say I'm surprised. Indignant is a great word for it. Have you ever seen a scammer get called out, like in those Indian scamming videos? They're not like, ah, you got me, I'm sorry. The first thing they do is get angry. A scam artist isn't ashamed of being called out. They're mad at you for identifying them, and that's what these game devs are now. They're scam artists. They know they have no real qualifications, and when the player calls them out, they scream at you for redeeming. And although harassment is bad, and I obviously don't condone it, maybe it's a little warranted in some ways, when nothing else seems to get through, when they have no problem shitting on everyone else. Not to mention this harassment they get is basically nothing. They're complaining about playground insults, and then sometimes it's not even an insult. People are allowed to not like you or what you stand for or who you work with. They have no problem insulting other people, but do it to them and suddenly it's a crime. And all of this isn't even to mention when developers do things intentionally to piss players off and then somehow get surprised when everyone's pissed off. Everything I mentioned earlier was people doing a bad job and thinking they're doing a good job, but sometimes they know they're doing something bad. They know they're doing something everyone hates, and they do it anyway, and then somehow it's harassment if you call them out. There's making something ugly because you're just a bad artist, and then there's making something ugly because you want to avoid the male gaze. You know, the males who buy your fucking video game. The male gaze is literally the only thing you should be appealing to, especially when all the research shows that women also want to play as attractive women. So they're doing this for nobody. But it's just a coincidence that Marvel Rivals is incredibly popular, despite being a clone of a clone of a clone. It doesn't take creativity or even really skill to just give people what they want. This isn't them thinking they know better either. They know it's a bad idea. They just don't care. They don't want you to play their games. They openly admit to hating you, yet you're not allowed to be angry. And you're definitely not allowed to be happy when they get fired. Well, I don't think people really care anymore. You're not going to shame me into feeling bad for someone who hates me. So even if I know it's not going to do anything, a little bit of being mean to the game developers on Twitter at least makes me feel better. Because if I can't make you a better developer because you don't want to listen, at least I can make you feel bad. And that's something. Now, this is the point in the video where I give some positive examples of game developers really listening to the players and improving things. And maybe you can find that in the indie space, but in AAA games, I couldn't find a single example because it probably doesn't exist. Not in the modern day, at least. Is it any wonder then why basically no good games come out? And when they do, it's all from legendary developers who have been making games for decades. I want to give one last example though, to show you why I think this problem will never go away, at least not in the modern climate. Kensuke Tanabe. I have no idea if that's how you pronounce that, but I don't respect the Japanese, so I don't care. A Nintendo developer who recently retired and is most famous for ruining basically every game he's ever led. He ruined the Paper Mario series, taking out all of the RPG elements and leading to failure after failure, where every player was saying this is the wrong direction and he refused to listen. Then, as proof that it really is his fault, not Mario Man dates, not some other Nintendo developers, was he got to lead a Metroid game. Metroid Prime 4, the worst Metroid game ever made, one of the most anticipated Nintendo games of all time, completely ruined by one guy who's done nothing but ruin games, ruining not only the legacy of these series, but also the legacy of the people working on those games, wasting their effort on things he knows no one will like. And when he finally retires, wanna know what people say? Well, you're a bad person if you're happy he quit. It's just video games, dude. You should never wish for someone to be fired. Excuse me? It is the most normal thing in the world to want someone who does a bad job to be fired. But this is just the way of society now. I know we're not talking about video games anymore, but I think you can see this quite literally everywhere, that the quality of everything is going down because you're just not allowed to be upset about things anymore. That you just don't know how hard it is working retail. And that means you have to be okay with the McDonald's employee who's fucked up your order 500 times in a row. Or you go to a doctor's appointment and there's no one to check you in because nobody shows up on time. And nobody shows up on time because no one is forced to clock in. This is a real example, by the way. I obviously won't say where, but we're here complaining about video games, but there are hospitals that don't force their employees to clock in and out, so people just don't show up and are still paid by the government. I don't know. I think the point of this video is game devs don't get nearly enough hate, that all of it is distributed to random boardroom people who probably don't even exist. I mean, they're always talking about, oh, the committee. Who is the committee? Where are they? I think you're the committee, and I don't like you. I also think having a job doesn't necessarily make you good at that job. Way too many people on Twitter or on YouTube are like, I'm a professional game developer. Here's my advice, but then they've never actually made a good game. Anyway, that's all I got. Channel update. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back. But YouTube's kind of mad at me for, you know, not uploading for 4 months. So I gotta have to like slop out a bunch of videos to show YouTube that I'm coming back before they'll let me into the algorithm. So get ready for a bunch of slop in the coming weeks. Anyway, bye.
I don't know. Whatever. He lives, yeah. Not really sleep talking. I'm just kind of multitasking, if you know what I mean. I'm somewhat tired, but also I'm browsing eBay at the same time, so I'm kind of like halfway paying attention. But I don't know. I am gonna go take a piss real quick, though. Yeah, I am kind of like halfway asleep, so I don't know. I don't even know how long I was sitting here, so I could have dozed off for a minute. It's possible. Who knows, dude?
I can't afford this shit!
See, this is why I don't understand why y'all are always in a rush for me to do videos. Like, this shit puts me to fucking sleep. So... this shit's boring as fuck half the time. But, yeah. Anyway. So, it wouldn't even surprise me if I dozed off. I'm already tired, so... scrolling on my phone, listening to gaming shit. Yup. Because the thing is, bro, is this fucking chair leans way back. So half of these videos, I'm like leaned the fuck back, so, yeah. Wouldn't even shock me. It wouldn't even shock me. All these boring videos. Yeah, it's just like, it's the same shit over and over again. You know, I don't even what we watched Yawn Yeah before that, so yeah, not surprising. Just think you aren't tired. If only it was that easy. If only it was that easy. Oh boy, man. Alright, now we've got Smash JQ. Oh boy.
Chibi Reviews says Stellar Blade might be getting censored, and Shift Up as a whole was sent this image in my DMs, and upon looking it up, Shift Up hired a DEI specialist,
Holy fuck, man.
PlayStation executive, as head of global communications. Now this doesn't definitely mean it's cooked, but the red flags are here. Jerome Benzadone, ESG, focuses on DE and I. ESG? Oh no. Oh no. Regardless of how much damage will be done, we can say with certainty that the fear of not conforming enough to the dominant ideology of the West struck again. It's also tiring. How much more evidence do you need to prove that there is a cabal behind the scenes that ensures that this shit
Yeah, smash JQ. I don't think the cabal behind the scenes is the same one that everybody else is thinking of, but you know.
Continues no matter what. God. Jerome Benzedon. Uh-oh. Him. Head of global communications at Shift Up. Over 20 years of communication expertise in video game industry, collaborating with major international companies like Shift Up, Sony PlayStation, Ubisoft, and THQ, out of business, in $2 billion of debt. Concord, Marathon, Horizon Forbidden Diet, failures, Sony PlayStation, and now coming to Shift Up. Yikes, bro. After 13 incredible years at Sony PlayStation, it's time to start a new main quest. I am thrilled to officially announce that I've joined Shift Up as the head of global communications. Shift Up is crafting some of the most extraordinary experiences in gaming, so I'm honored to help build global communication strategies with Mr. Hyung Tae Kim's works of art, including the recently announced Stellar Blade Blood Rain. I'm also very excited to work on what's cooking with Mr. Shinji Mikami and his brilliant team at Unbound. So he is using DEI as a job. Oh no. They would hire this guy just because of the connections that he has in the industry. Oh, geez. Shift Up. Permanent.
But is that what he's actually doing, or is he just head of I don't know. This might be a non-issue, to be completely honest.
Head of global communications. Previously, almost 14 years at Sony, senior communications manager, head of PR, public relations, and before that, PR manager at Ubisoft, global media relations at THQ. Like, this is literally the resume of failing upwards. I know this is gonna sound silly to say, but the biggest red flag I have is the him, and the profile banner. Instagram, uh-oh. Ghost Yote. Happy launch day to Ghost Yote. Oh boy. I have many
Well, yeah, he worked at PlayStation, you dumbass.
questions. And even more concerns. Spider-Man 2, happy launch day. Artemis says he glazed all the shit PlayStation games. Saros, Yote, and so on. Spider-Man 2.
Well, yeah, he worked at PlayStation. Of course he glazed all the shit PlayStation games. This is his fucking job. Until there's actually like some evidence of something, I don't really think this is that big a deal. This just sounds like somebody taking a fucking job at a company.
As well, yep. He updated his LinkedIn.
It doesn't mean he's gonna have fucking creative control over the entire game.
His about section does not say DEI anymore. So check this. About, over 20 years communication expertise, you know, that line that I read there. Second line, expert in crafting, executing internal communication. Third line, management skills. Fourth line, proficient in both product and corporate communications. Look what he deleted. Focus on DEI, ESG. Queers are not content enough with Western and Japanese games. They are coming for Korean ones now. He thinks he's being
So he deleted it? Isn't that a good thing?
sly by deleting focus on DE and I after he got the job. Wow. Wow. Like, this is like literally caught in the act. He got busted right here. Gone. There it is.
So wait, why would he delete it if that's what he's still doing?
Holy crap. And here's the other thing. See how it says Shift Up right here? Look what it used to say before. ESG is gone now.
Okay. Again, is that a bad thing?
Wow. Looks like he's trying to hide who he was. This is crazy. Mr. Rouge says, you call that a rat?
Yeah, I'm sorry. This seems like a nothing, bro. This is like all the people clutching their pearls over the fucking what's her name? The Nintendo of America chick. I don't remember her fucking name, it doesn't matter, but you know, they were acting like all of a sudden that, you know, Nintendo was now going to be the most woke company on planet. It's like, dude, there's such a thing as, you know, people taking a job and that's it. It's just a job at the end of the day. Like, it doesn't mean that because they work at the company, they will have, you know, the opportunity to inject their own personal poison into whatever the studio makes.
And on a ship, it means a sinking ship. Yep. Couldn't have said it better myself. And man, he's getting hammered in the comments. I'm checking. When I search his name on X and DEI, he's getting absolutely hammered by people. DEI scum, ESG, DEI. Please no DEI bullshit. Like, the comments go on and on. There's a lot of concern and a lot of take. Aren't you the DEI guy? Will you ruin the game with DEI crap? I don't like DEI in my game. Hiring anyone associated with DEI background is just too much risk, in my opinion. Please don't bring this Western culture virus into Asian IPs. Yep. Can you get the fuck out? Man. And this is all responding to him. Translating from French. After 13 memorable years at PlayStation, I'm thrilled to announce that I'm joining Shift Up as head of global communications. Can't wait to steer the global campaigns for the gems from Mr. Kim, Hyung Tae, Mr. Shinji Mikami, and other teams. Wow. This is crazy. Yeah, the Flanders meme is probably the most on-point reply here.
How is that crazy? So he worked for 13 years in one particular type of job, and now he's leaving one company to work at another in the exact same type. I don't fucking know, dude. Again, unless there's like some evidence of shit going on, this is a complete fucking just headcanon scenario.
Lots of replies congratulating him, obviously, because these are from his followers. But man, oh man, people are not happy in these replies when you search them. After getting the job, deleting DEI and ESG from his profile.
Well, isn't that a good sign? Again, like, if this was really a political ideologue, he would have left that shit up. That's the thing. You know, maybe Sony was the one that mandated he had to have that shit there in the past. Or he thought he needed it there because of, you know, the fact he was looking for a job in the extremely left-leaning video game industry. So maybe once he got a job at a normal company, he's like, oh, I don't need this fucking dog shit anymore. So again, I don't think it's really prudent to just automatically assume the worst. But most likely this dude is a lefty. Just like most other people who work in the video game industry at this point. It doesn't mean he has creative control over the game. So again, this is a marketing / communications role. They take what's already been developed and just sell it. Or communicate about it. They're not making creative decisions.
It's pretty fucking telling. What is ESG? Is ESG a school? Like, what?
I don't know, man.
Why is there no details on this? This is very weird. I'm very, very confused. Did you go to school at the World Economic Forum for 5 years? Calculi says ESG may stand for École Suprême de Gestion, a business school in France. Okay, but the fact...
Dude, what if that's actually what it is? What if that's actually what it is? And, oh my god, that would actually be fucking funny. That'd be the perfect encapsulation of exactly what I'm talking about. Like, it's just pearl clutching to a certain degree.
The fact that he didn't write that for education tells me that he wants it to seem like it's connected to ESG. Otherwise, why wouldn't you put that name of the school next to it? Why would you just say education ESG? And
well, that's what it is, saying it's like your place of employment, right? I don't really know how LinkedIn works because I don't fucking use LinkedIn. But isn't that like the two places that he worked?
unless you're trying to fool people or have that in the search term. Very strange. Core pillars of ESG marketing. Environmental, showcasing climate action, carbon reduction, renewable energy use, and waste management. Social, highlighting fair labor practices, diversity and inclusion, community impact, and data privacy. Governance, demonstrating executive transparency, ethical board leadership, and anti-corruption policies. Wow. So it was underneath Shift Up, and now it's not. And he still has the he, him, which is a dead giveaway. But I think the biggest tell is he deleted it from
Dude, I'm starting to drift off again. I can feel it.
That is mind-blowing to me. Everything else exactly the same, but he removes focus on D, E, and I. And I wonder if that's a direct result of, once this happened and information got out there, he started getting hammered on X.
I'm tempted to start doom scrolling again on eBay, but I don't know. That didn't work for me last time.
With this. And he's like, fuck, gotta hide the DEI stuff.
Some stimulation,
I don't want people to know that's who I am. This is a fucking rat. Mr. Rouge called it on a sinking ship. 100%. This is like the perfect meme. ESG, DEI guy. I have many questions. Oh, man. Plazino Saga says, ESG was one of the original forms of modern woke ideology. You don't stick that in there on accident. Yep, 100%. So even if that was true, why would he not use the current name of his school? That's what I'm saying. Why would you call it ESG and then just leave it at that? That's, if anything, that's super unprofessional and weird. Why would you not name the school? I have many concerns for the future of Shift Up and the next Stellar Blade immediately. I don't know if this guy's going to have enough time to impact the game or if it's far enough along for him not to be able to do anything right now. But I have a tremendous amount of concerns right now. Like, yikes.
Yikers.
This from the reply to him. I'm not attacking you or anything, but you do understand what type of content Shift Up makes, right? They make fan service for people who love that sort of stuff. And modern Sony PlayStation was the antithesis of that. I'm a Shift Up fan since Destiny Child. Don't worry. This is on Nikki Mobile 4 hours ago. We're getting Sony PlayStation representatives in Shift Up. This is despite the fact Stellar Blade had problems because of Sony PlayStation publishing, and they're handling the global communications.
So wait, hold on.
This is despite the fact Stellar Blade Child. Don't worry.
So maybe that's the thing, is he left Sony to go work at Shift Up because he actually liked their shit. Again, we're automatically assuming the worst. But maybe this dude was like, dude, I'm fucking sick of PlayStation. You know, I worked with Shift Up during the initial launch of Stellar Blade 1. And now I have the opportunity to work with them full time and get the fuck away from PlayStation. Like, that's also a possibility that nobody's looking at. So, again, if he was happy promoting woke dog shit, wouldn't he have just stayed at PlayStation instead of going to the fucking Korean Gooner game studio? Like, again, I don't know. Until there's actually, like, some sort of whatever, I guess, proof of foul play, a lot of this shit just seems like pearl clutching, I'm not gonna lie. So... I mean, yeah, it could be a fucking infiltrator, but wouldn't you be doing more damage? Fucking PlayStation? I don't know, man. I don't really think a Korean mobile game studio is a bit high profile enough fucking target, to be completely honest.
This is on Nikkei Mobile 4 hours ago. We're getting Sony PlayStation representatives and Shift Up. This is despite the fact Stellar Blade had problems because of Sony PlayStation Publishing, and they're handling the global communications. And it said it's one guy from Sony's marketing department. Now he's heading up the global marketing department for Shift Up as a whole. He's got nothing to do with game. This is how they invade a studio. This is how it starts. If you say it's not a big deal, you are literally welcoming this to happen there now.
Hey, Smash JQ, I hate to break it to you, man, but have you ever been around Koreans? Has old Smash JQ ever been around Koreans? Like, here's a question for old Smash. What is the predominant political ideology in Koreans aged 20 to 40? You know, riddle me this. Are they heckin' based right-wing chuds, or are they pseudo-communist left-wingers who have some of the most extreme feminist women on planet Earth? I don't know.
I feel like this is way overblown and dramatic. This guy said, you just invoked the culture warriors on this platform.
Just because something's not Western doesn't inherently make it based. It's like the whole argument that, like, anime is super based, bro. It's like a lot of anime is not fucking based at all. A lot of anime is incredibly left-wing. It's just not Western when it comes to left-wing, but it's left-wing nonetheless.
To defend why this is the fall of Western civilization. Chaotic Holy says, just to be absolutely certain, are we sure that France doesn't consider the ESG school like we in the US consider UCLA? Just initials is enough as it's
Bro,
famous.
I'm struggling.
Maybe. I'm just saying it'd be a hell of a coincidence. That's a hell of a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences unless it's on purpose, where it is a coincidence and he's leaving it like that to purposefully make it look like that. And yeah, it doesn't dismiss that he had DEI in his profile. Exactly. Even if you remove the ESG thing and say, oh, it's a school thing, it's like, no, he's got DEI in his profile. This is, this is crazy. And the he, him is a huge red flag. Like more than all the others. Well, no, the DEI is probably the biggest one, but the he, him is right there as well. He/him is whatever for me. That's just LinkedIn garbage. It's not whatever for me. It's literally a dog whistle to the wokies. If you put that there, you are saying, I'm one of you. It's literally the digital equivalent of a nose ring, putting your pronouns. So it's a very big deal. 100%. It's coded language for these fuckers. Like, it's a huge deal. Yes, I would not downplay that at all. That's huge. I'll probably make a follow-up video on this because there's so much information to check in on this guy to see if there's anything else. But man, I guess I'll leave it at this. I have legitimate concerns for the future of Shift Up right now. Even if this guy, even if you're going to say he has hands off, he's just the communications or doing the marketing stuff, even if he has no connection to the direct development of the game himself, this is exactly how they start to seep into other cultures in other areas of the world. This is how they start to slowly change what's acceptable in what the games are being made. So yes, I think anyone who's a fan of Shift Up should have massive concerns. If for nothing else, the one thing that was found on his LinkedIn profile, this right here, this is the biggest concern I have out of everything. Focus on DE&I. Nope. You do not get hired at my company if I see that at all. But I'll keep you guys posted if I find anything else. But for now, I'll leave that there. I'll keep you guys posted if I find anything else, but for now, I'll leave that. Didn't profile. This right here. This is the biggest concern I have out of everything. Focus on DE and I.
Hold on, I'm just curious. Just looking up something real quick. Okay, no, that's not it. Anyway, whatever. If you're putting pronouns, and I think LinkedIn requires you to put pronouns, doesn't it? I had to do that shit on fucking Microsoft Teams at my job, so they required you to. It's a Microsoft product, so it wouldn't surprise me. Man. It's over, dude. Alright, let me read these super chats. So, Bud Sunny with the 2. Let me just see what it is. Alright, well, that's Shaka Gaming with a 3. Heckin' Steve has heckin' diabetes. I'd say so. It's probably pretty likely. Small Shriveled Nuts with the gift of membership. Appreciate it, bro. And Bud Sunny with the 2. It's time to sue Sony. Oh my god. More physical game slop. You are, like, y'all are trying to put me to sleep. See, this is the thing. You act surprised. You know, I stay up for over 24 hours straight. Stare at fucking Excel all day, go to the fucking gym and exercise, and then I get here and sit and stare at the same fucking 3 topics over and over again, and you're surprised that I fall asleep. Even though I'm like trying to fucking Autism Max and like shop on eBay and trying to do my best to stay awake while having to sit here listening to gaming shit over and over and over again. It's like, bruh. Eventually, something's gotta give. Dude, I've already taken a caffeine pill. I'm already drinking a fucking Monster right now. So... I don't know what else other than snorting fucking coke I'm supposed to do at this point. To a Monster enema. Now that's hot, dude. Let's see. Bud Sunny with the 2. Oh god, this fucking freak. My dad. Why don't you become your own person? Like, this guy is so fucking weird, man. I'm sorry. Like, this dude needs to move the fuck on. Like, bro, you are your own human being. Grifting your dad constantly is like just fucking cringe. My dad, remember when my dad did this? I remember when my dad. What have you done? What the fuck have you done? What? My father was a gamer. Like, it's unhealthy. I don't know, bro. You know, if I died, like, yeah, I would hope my kids would actually like me, but at the same time, I wouldn't want them to make their entire fucking identity about, like, skinwalking my corpse and then parading footage of me all over the internet. I don't know, dude. It's a little weird. It's a little weird. Yeah, and then you, like, sign photos of your dad to hand out at convention. Like, weird. Weird. Bud Sunny with the 2. This rental store hoarded 1,000 boxes. Dog, what the fuck is this dog shit? Yeah, this is gonna put me in a fucking coma. A 1,000 game box. If this is literally him just buying empty boxes of games, I'm not watching that, bro. Like, Daryl's on the 2. Sleeping. Griffin is back. I wish. I should have stayed asleep. I should have stayed asleep. Honestly. You know, my brain was right to shut down. Shocky Gaming with the 3. How old is Smash JQ? Why is he wearing a Mario hat? I don't know how old he is. I think he's like 40s would be my guess, but no idea. I don't really care, to be honest. I don't watch Smash JQ in my free time. It's very tempting again, man, because like what happened the last time is I was just leaning back in my chair, letting the video play, scrolling on my phone, looking at eBay listings, and drifted off, dude. So I've already been awake for like 30 hours at this point, so I'm pretty tired. And let's see, Chaga Gaming with a 3. Smash JQ is diabetic and chosen. Nice. An HTM 101 with a 2. Try Twisted Tower. It's a BioShock inspired game. I can look it up. Watch the trailer or something. Let's see. Alright, well, we can close out of that. Oh boy, dude. Chibi reviews. I would love to see Chibi reviews like top 10 animes of all time. I'm just curious if he's like actually like that much of a serial gooner or not. Like, I'd actually be kind of interested to see that. Am I going to stream tomorrow? I was planning on possibly going live kind of early in the day because of the COD beta, but we'll see. We shall see. It just depends. And let's see here.
I need somebody to touch my damn penis!
With the 5, pronouns are actually useful since so many third worlders join the workforce. Without them, it's hard to tell what their gender is just by name. Yeah, it's an unnecessary problem to be solved, I guess. But yeah, I guess that's the cope, right? That's the cope. It shouldn't be a problem in the first place, though. We shouldn't have the third worlders here anyway. And then we wouldn't have to worry about it.
Bad news this morning. Like, I did not want to see this. Like, Shift Up that's had just so much good PR. They have had the CEO retweeting fan art of Eevee, basically not caring about cancel culture, cancel mob, and people upset with attractive female characters. They didn't care. And it was just like non-stop based commitments that we saw from Shift Up and the CEO of Shift Up. But for some reason, the company decided to make one of the worst decisions imaginable and hired an individual that has actively been harming gaming for over a decade. Don't believe me? Let me show you proof. So it was announced literally yesterday that this individual called Jerome Benzadon, he is now being hired at Shift Up as the head of global
I hate that he uses the Majula music in his videos.
communications. The reason why this is very important and why this is bad news, why I'm starting off with such a negative bad news this morning, is because this man on his LinkedIn profile, literally yesterday when this was announced, is that he had focus on DEI and ESG in his bio. And then when people started to discover this, he removed it to try to hide the entire situation. As you can see, this is what you look at now if you go to his profile. The point here is that this individual has actively been working with Sony, PlayStation for 13 years. This man has also been working with Ubisoft and THQ, companies that have been actively pushing different agenda, narrative, and watering things down, making it dumbed down, all sorts of different stuff like that, really ruining gaming for a while now. And the point...
Let's see.
I need somebody to touch my damn penis!
With the 5, it's not cope. Well, I was just more so talking about the fact, like, if you wanted to try and spin pronouns into a positive thing. I don't need that shit because I have a normal name, and it's obvious what my gender is. Let the pronouns go to the freaks of nature. Yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, you wouldn't need them, but, yeah. I get what you're saying, man. You know, the problem would solve itself if we just didn't have the third worlders in the first place. You're on Chibi's Mal. Oh, his favorite anime are Spice and Wolf, Hunter x Hunter, Full Metal Alchemist, Gintama, and Higurashi. Dude, he's just literally a Arrested Development 2006 anime viewer. That's brutal. That's actually fucking brutal.
Here is that for some reason Shift Up that has been all about good PR, they've had non-stop good
Like
PR.
anything post 2010 to him is like shite, I guess.
They have been on basically the OG gamer side and everything. They decided to hire one of the worst people imaginable that has actively been pushing these type of things to cause different games to be censored, to force policy.
Well, most of that's not Gooner shit. Like, Spice and Wolf is definitely Gooner shit. Like, it's literally about a dude who bangs his wolf. Which, yeah. And then the other ones are, you know, Hunter x Hunter is Shonen Slop. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is supposedly good. I've never watched it. Gintama is like a comedy show. And then Higurashi, I think, is like one of those like psychological horror type animes. But yeah, there's not really much Gooner shit on that list, to be honest.
Into it, it's just like, why would you do that?
You know, I was expecting shit more like, you know, Kiss X Sis or High School DxD and shit like that, you know? The real Gooner shit.
Like, it's a big red flag. Now, I need to make sure I clarify this before I go any further. Obviously, at this time, there is no direct mention of censorship and all of that, but the point here is that this is a canary in a coal mine. When you put a canary in a coal mine to see if, you know, it's safe or not, and it, you know, just dies, this is kind of like that situation. It's like you're releasing a canary in a coal mine to see if something bad's gonna happen. And in this case, that is what this is. This is a red flag, because it's like, out of anyone that Shift Up could...
How do I know those animes? Because I've seen them. Dude, I used to watch a bunch of anime back in the day.
have hired that could have been a part of this job to be head of global communication, why would you hire an individual that has been nonstop about DEI and ESG? Like, I don't even understand why you would do something like that. Because it's like...
I pretty much grew up watching anime. So I didn't watch, like, Cartoon Network and Disney Channel and that type of dog shit. So, you know, from a very young age, I got into watching Naruto. And as a result, I watched a bunch of other animes too. So, Naruto and Bleach were always my main, like, two that I watched. But every now and then when I was a kid, I'd watch other stuff. And then when I got to be, like, I don't know, 11 or 12-ish, I started branching off and watching a lot more different things. So, yeah, the softcore porn animes were, like, perfect for my, you know, puberty-brained teenage years. So yeah, I watched a bunch of the Gooner animes back in the day.
Let me put this in perspective of what head of global communication means. It means that they're going to be basically all about the marketing of Stellar Blade and Nikkei. It's going to be about them communicating with people overseas, basically trying to cater to people and make sure it's, like, inclusive and everybody likes the product and all like stuff like that. And we have been down this road. We know what happens when we have localizers or communicators that try to be a vocal piece for companies that are overseas. It turns out very bad. It's not a good situation whatsoever. I mean, let's look at anime, for instance, how anime and manga is treated. This is not a good thing. I think that in general, a man having this type of stuff in his description and then trying to hide it and basically not even mention it a day later, I think really does say a lot. But the point here is there's two different directions that this can go, okay? The first direction is that this individual, Jerome Benzadon, he comes out swinging, basically saying he doesn't give a crap about what he used to work on, he doesn't care about DEI, he was forced upon him, whatever. If he makes an official statement like that, then obviously that would be a very good green flag, showing that he really wants to keep the integrity of what Shift Up is, what Nikkei is, and what Stellar Blade is. I think that would be great to prove everybody wrong instantly. But the other direction this can go is that this man might try to be silent or say certain things, trying to not really talk about it too much, and then we start to see gradual changes and shifts within Shift Up and also Stellar Blade and their other projects that they work on, because I don't know why someone like this that's been communicating with PlayStation for so long would get such a role like this when we know what those roles can do to a company. So
I can tell you why, because he probably worked with Shift Up during the Stellar Blade 1 marketing. Like, this to me screams like, hey, I worked with this company when I worked at another company, and I liked working with this company more than working at my current one. So now that a job opened up, I'm going to take it at the company that I liked more than the one I'm currently working at. That's most likely what happened in this situation. If I was a betting man, is he probably got, like, familiar with Shift Up when PlayStation was publishing Stellar Blade. And a job opened up, and, you know, he probably just took it. Again, until there's actually something to worry about, this seems kind of unnecessary, to be honest.
yeah, like, this is just... What a opening today. Like, what did I wake up to, man? I did not want to see this. I hope this isn't, like,
I mean, let's be honest here, too, bro. He's French. They're, like, eternally horny. So I highly fucking doubt he's going to be pushing for the desexualization of the characters in the game.
The actual beginning of the end for Shift Up, I really hope not. But we'll have to see. Honestly, I hope that Jerome Benzadon, he comes in swinging, he says he's not about that anymore, he proves himself, and I'll be like, you know what, good man, we forgive you and all that. I hope. But we shall see. So I will leave it at that. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. It helps me out a lot. Leave a like on the video. Chibi out.
I'm just looking at his posts. I don't see anything that, like, sticks out as anything super crazy. But this guy literally made his character in Elden Ring a woman. So again, that bodes well, dude. So if he wanted to goon to his Elden Ring character, That's also a positive sign. I don't know. Again, if I'm a betting man, my chain of events in my head is what I'm going with, personally. Yeah, there's like nothing on his page at all about diversity or anything. I'm not seeing anything at all, bro. It's like almost exclusively just fucking, you know, video game screenshots and shit. So, yeah. I don't see anything remotely left-wing on his profile, so... And he's been posting since 2014. Like, not even, you know, BLM shit. So, if you worked in the video game industry and you have a clean record during the 2020 time period, I feel like that's a pretty green flag. Because there's probably definitely a lot of pressure to post a lot of that dog shit. Yeah, and I'm looking too. It's like he doesn't follow anything except gaming stuff. Yeah, I don't know. There's not really any indication here that this dude is super political, so I don't know. Again, until there's something to worry about, I wouldn't really flip the fuck out. Personally. But anything's possible. Nah, it's just OBS. Alright.
What up, peeps? It's your boy Heck Steve. Welcome back to the channel. And today I want to talk to you about pity tubers. You might be thinking to yourself, Steve, what is a pity tuber? You've probably came across a video that usually, has a title like "My life sucks," or "I've never had a girlfriend," or "Life is pointless," or blah blah blah. They seem to be all over the place on YouTube, and they tend to do very well. Like, so it's basically
Yo, literally me. I feel lonely. I don't have any friends to hang out at Friday nights. Agreed. Random Japanese man.
just like if you want to be a successful YouTuber, all you have to do is just get a lot of pity out of people. Well, there's one channel in particular that I want to talk to you about today, and that is a channel called Ask Japan. Now, so this is the first video I've seen where his views really just hit over the top. It's called "I Feel Lonely. I Don't Have Any Friends to Hang Out at Friday Nights." But one thing he learned from doing this type of video was that, it made a lot of views. So obviously, if it's working for you, then you got to keep doing it. But that's the thing, though. It's like, how sincere does a pity YouTuber become when they're just constantly doing the same thing over and over again? So now let's keep looking here.
Dude, he should have watched that one fucking Japan salaryman guy who's like, I want to fucking kill myself. I hate my boss. I hate my shitty apartment. I hate my mundane schedule. Like, that guy's way worse, I feel like.
He went back to doing his normal stuff, which wasn't doing well. And then it looks like he started doing "My life is so boring. Why so many Japanese middle-aged people feel so?" And then that's it. And then it hit 340,000 or 340,000 views. Then it just keeps going from there. And then you look at his most popular videos. "I'm 50-year-old Japanese man and really worried about my future." 1.6 million views. Then, "I'm 50-year-old Japanese man. I'm lonely on Saturday night. I play Sailor Moon." He misspelled Sailor Moon. He probably doesn't speak English as his first language. Totally cool. I mean, he is Japanese. Another one here. "I'm 50-year-old Japanese man. I'm always alone, even on the Saturday night. But I need
either subscribe, donate, or get the fuck out."
I agree, Japanese man. I'm alone on Saturday nights, too.
Chill out.
Why don't I become a rip and ship streamer? I've thought about it, but I don't have space for it, so I don't have anywhere to rip or ship.
So, I mean, it's funny, it's funny to laugh about, like, poor grammar and everything, but, it's not as fun.
First of all, I'd have to, one, get a massive sealed inventory, which I don't have space to store where I am currently. And two, I would need to get, like, an actual like desk setup with overhead camera so that I would have somewhere to rip said packs. But I thought about it at one point. It was something I considered. It's a pretty easy business model, honestly. And it's like, you know, pretty much just make money for doing nothing. Because you would just upcharge the packs like $1 or so. And then, you know, people buy them because it's on stream. And, yeah.
Then you got a 50-year-old Japanese man struggling with midlife crisis. My life is miserable. Now, this is a gentleman that has a family. He has a wife and a daughter. Seems to live in a pretty decent place in Japan, based on, you know, this big-ass fucking TV. Dude's eating Doritos. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not living in a fucking terrible situation. Like, here's another one where he's eating Doritos. Yeah, so let's just take a look at his most recent video, okay? And this is basically the same fucking video that he's made over and over.
Just on ordinary Sunday, lunchtime. I'm heading toward McDonald's Japan, located my house.
Dude's going to eat McDonald's. But if I do it, you know, I'm fucking piece of shit. I'm a loser. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm fat. I shouldn't eat at McDonald's. Only
Well, McDonald's Japan is a lot healthier.
skinny people are allowed to eat things that are bad for them. But yeah, that's pretty much, that's how all these videos go. Or like here's one. A 50-year-old Japanese man struggling with midlife crisis, me and my daughter. So like, how can you have a midlife crisis and be depressed and be sad?
Yeah, dude. Is this that guy we watched where he was like LARPing as like a retro gamer? And it's like, dude, how can you be alone on a Saturday night when you have kids? Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
When you have a nice house, nice family, with a fucking kid. I don't think that this dude is actually feeling bad about his fucking self at all, especially when he's getting the views that he's getting. I don't know, man. I just, I think these types of videos are stupid. Well, first of all, like, whenever you're making this type of video, and maybe you're not necessarily seeking pity, but you end up getting a lot of it. You get a lot of sympathy as well. But I added a lot of videos to my watch later here. And yeah, I'm 23, never had a girlfriend. Watch this if you never had a girlfriend and you're craving love. My life is a loser virgin. And, you know, look at the view counts. You know, 241,000, 223,000, 591,000. And these are all channels.
Notice how all of them are almost watched to completion. Brutal.
That, like, don't have a lot of subscribers. Even now. Then you have Camelot 331. So we're definitely going to watch that one. Because that dude has no fucking reason ever to be depressed or sad. At least not to the point where he needs to make a 12-minute video on it to get some fucking views. And that's probably the most popular video he has. 2.4 million views in 3 years. This dude has never, ever been that popular.
Yeah, I will say, in fairness to the Japanese, their culture is, like, actually fucked when it comes to, like, the loneliness shit. Like, every aspect of Japanese life is, like, hyper-optimized to being, like, a solo experience. You know, everything. So they just assume that people do shit by themselves in Japan. So, I mean, there are opportunities to meet people and stuff, but it's not even remotely similar to how it is in the West. Like, people think it's hard to meet friends in the West, bro. Like, Japanese society is way more structured for isolation.
Yeah, he had 1.1 million. That's his second most popular video. Now, I know a lot of people are going to watch this, maybe that don't know who I am, don't know what I'm all about and stuff, and they're going to type in the comments and be like, you're just fucking jealous that they got a lot of views. Dude, all I gotta do is make a crybaby video, and then bam. You know, I'd be like, oh, I'm fat, you know, my life sucks, and I never get to have sex with women, except for none of that is true, except for that I'm fat. Yeah, so I remember when this video came out. I've actually followed Camelot 331 since before he had like 20,000 subscribers, if you can believe that. He got famous from making a lot of I used to work at GameStop videos, and then he kind of, you know, kept going.
Yeah, he kept making videos about how GameStop molested him over and over again.
From there, and then he would have people send him stories, and he would just kind of regurgitate that on screen. But yeah, I'm 31 and have no friends. Emotional, I'm sorry. But then, like, if you come to this peak part right here where he starts crying like a little pussy-ass baby bitch, that shouldn't be posting this dumb shit on the fucking internet unless you're literally just using it to fucking make money. Because I tell you what, 2.4 million views, that's a lot of ad revenue, my bud. And to give you an idea, you know, I get like 70,000 views on average a month, and that's about $300 in revenue. So how much revenue do you think he made for crying on camera? 2.4 million. That's a lot. That's a couple $1,000s. All right, now keep...
I don't have any friends.
Come on, this dude is fucking sad. He's in a room with a damn arcade machine.
I learned that they were my real friends.
You sound like Kermit the Frog. Yeah, man, I don't mean to sit here and like bash people that are going through some shit, having a tough time. We all get sad and blue from time to time.
My friends.
But it's just like, man, you have like the best scenario in the world. Like, you're not living in a fucking hut. You know, you have electricity and running water. You have like a decent home. Your job is to talk in front of a camera. And Yeah, play fucking video games. Like, how could you be so sad and depressed about that? Now, trust me, people with actual depression can still find
Wings of Redemption
themselves in situations where they feel that way. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that these people are fucking full of shit. You know how I know people like this are full of fucking shit? Because people that are actually depressed would not even put in the effort to make a video about it. They would just...
Yeah, it's like people who are suicidal. They don't tell you how suicidal they are.
Just fucking mope around and sit around and not reach out to anybody. Or maybe they would talk to their best friend and complain constantly about how depressed they are and stuff. My best friend has done that with me before. So yeah, that's why I feel like this shit is bullshit. Because I feel like real depressed people are sleeping most of the day. They're not on social media. They're not fucking trying to get sympathy from other people because they don't care. They're so depressed they don't actually care. This one kind of surprised me here. The chick. You know, my life as a loser version. She's got 18,000 subscribers. This video, 9 months, has gotten her 591,000 views, which is pretty damn good. I'm assuming because usually you see these types of videos come from like dudes, and since she's a chick, that kind of helps. People be like, dude, look, this chick is fucking depressed. You should watch this video.
She's just as much of a loser as me, guys. We would totally date.
I can't believe it. It's a girl that gets sad too. What?
I just want to be a normal person.
Does the girl cry, or is it just Camelot that cries? Actually, there's an Asian dude, not the one I showed you earlier, but another one. He's crying too, saying life is pointless and stuff. And we'll watch that. We'll watch a snippet of that in just a minute. I just want to see if she actually cries. Hold on, let's see. This is where everybody started queuing up, so maybe there is some cry.
Don't do, you know? I wish that my videos attracted more female viewers instead of...
Okay, you know what? She didn't cry. Maybe she actually is depressed. So I'm gonna leave that one alone. But then we have this kid right here. Nah, man, he was just fucking... That's how he starts the video. Nobody cares about you. But yeah, he does end up crying. He tells this sob story about how like when
he's Elliot Rogers maxing.
As a kid, you know, he would like give kids in class like some chips and something to drink when they didn't have anything. But then like when the roles were reversed, they would decline to give him anything, and then he gets really upset about that. But you know what, man? That's just how shit goes, man. That's how people are. I don't know if you know this or not, but you know, human beings can be the best and worst people in your life. And if they don't want to fucking help you and you help them, then those aren't your people, man. Simple as that. And I'm sure you've learned that lesson by the time that you made this video. But to say that life is pointless, now here's the thing, because this is called Life Rant. But if you watch all of these videos, you'll notice that there's a common thing that they all say, and it's that there's no point to anything. We're all just gonna die in the end. Well, here's the thing, man. All these people want this life that is so good. They don't have to stress over anything. They don't have to worry about anything. Dude, have you ever had everything you wanted? Like, not everything in general, but like, let's say you wanted to have like every video game that was currently out on the market, or like every game system. Okay, we'll put it that way. Let's say like you wanted to have an Xbox, a PlayStation, and a Nintendo Switch all at the same time, and like it was just really hard for you to attain that goal. But then you finally get it, and then you're just like, you know what? Why did I want this so much? Because it's not that big of a deal. And that's how life is, man. It's like you need shit to be hard and stressful. Maybe not to the severity that it is these days. I mean, it's pretty fucking hard out here. But you gotta have problems, because if you don't have problems, then there is no good shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, if everything is hunky-dory and like perfect all the time, it'll fucking drive you crazy. You gotta have some spice in your life to make stuff that's good actually meaningful. Let's say like you're just born in the right fucking family, and like you never had to buy your own cell phone, you never had to pay for your own car insurance or have your own car, you never had to fucking
I wish
pay rent until you're like, I don't know, 39 years old, but then your parents pass away and you get their inheritance, so you still don't have to work, and you just get to like become manager or owner of a company that your father had. Your life's gonna fucking suck, man, because
no, it's not.
You just like got everything for nothing. It's much more meaningful when you have to put in hard work to fucking, you know, enjoy life. Put it to you this way, man. Back in the day when I would buy a CD.
Yeah, that's like the boomer mentality of pull yourself up by the bootstraps.
You know, paid with my own money. I'd listen to the whole CD.
Yeah, fuck that, dude. I'll take 10 mil right now and not have to fucking work another day in my life.
Hell, if it had a booklet with the lyrics in it, I'd read the whole booklet along while listening to the CD. And I would appreciate the CD, and I'd actually end up usually liking the music. As opposed to how it is now, where like you just go on Tidal or Spotify, and there's like 20 new songs a day. Well, there's way more than that, but maybe 20 that are shown to you. And you may or may not even fucking listen to the single for longer than 30 seconds, because you know there's just so much more out there that you could be doing instead. And I think that if you had everything that you wanted in life and you didn't have to work hard for it, you would never really appreciate anything. You would just be served. And, you know, I think that also is...
Yeah, dude, I wish I was, like, born into a wealthy family. That shit would be cool. You know, I wish I was balling out from a young age. And I could just be like, yeah, it's whatever. I'm gonna get a shitload of money anyway. That'd be nice.
Intensified by how the shit is now, you know, with the smartphones.
If I had 10 million, would I still stream? Probably. What else would I do all day?
I mean, hell, dude, I could ask any question to this watch and it'll just fucking tell me what I need to know. I don't have to seek anything. It's just all catered to me. So, yeah.
I wouldn't have to work, so that way I would have more energy. But, yeah, I mean, I guess I'd have to find something to fill my time with.
Yeah, that does cause, you know, a lot of sadness in life and stuff. But you got to think about the fact here. This dude is so depressed, but yet he owns a car. You know, so he's already like 50 steps ahead of somebody that lives in a hut in Africa or something. You know what I mean? But people don't think about that. They're just ungrateful no matter what. And then there's a lot of sympathy here in the comments. People talking about how shitty their lives are. As a 41-year-old truck driver,
Have sex? Why the fuck would I want to do that?
who spends months at a time alone, I learned a long time ago that you can either be your best friend or your worst enemy. Don't let the things around you pull you down. And that's a good point too, man. And I know this is kind of odd to hear from me, but anytime that you feel depressed and you feel like,
Nah, maybe I would just like jet around the world and go to like card conventions and shit and do fucking IRL streams buying and selling cards. And then, you know, when I'm not doing that, just do normal streams. There you go.
your life is hopeless and pointless, the best thing to do, honestly, man, is to exercise. Like, go take a walk and do some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to get out there and do some stuff. Because if you just sit there and don't do anything, how's it going to get better? It's not, man. It's going to suck ass. And maybe you need to talk to a therapist, you know? Or maybe you can't afford one, so you feel like that's hopeless too. There's always ways to figure it out. You just have to use your brain. The only person that can make your life better is you. And that may come from other people too. Like, you may need to know the right people, but you've got to meet the people before they can become the right people for you. Now, my life hasn't been easy. It's been fucking difficult, but I'm making it work, and it's going pretty great, man. I'd say other than being fat as fuck, I'm doing all right. Every checkbox in every other category. But that's good, though. It's good to have something that you need to work on, because if everything was fucking good, how worth can I be to anything? Including myself, or my kitty, or my girlfriend, or my mother, who I take care of. So yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe this video went on too long, but at the end of the day, I just want to say this, man. If you're actually depressed, I feel bad for you. But if you're one,
yeah, it is. This is cope for the type of people that, you know, can turn on a Marvel movie and forget about their problems. Like, this is advice for people that are still normie pilled for the most part. It's for people who still resonate with, like, modern media and, you know, modern video games and everything else like that. So it's for people who have a lot of copes still. It's for people who haven't completely written off modernity. Otherwise, yeah, it's kind of useless advice.
these fucking snot-hole dick fuckers, like this Asian guy, that continues to make similar title videos to seek views, fuck you, man. Because that's horrible. Because there's people out there that really do need help, and you're just taking advantage. You're taking advantage of the situation. So yeah, that's all I really want to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not subscribed to the channel already and you like this type of content, hit me up, dog, because I'm here and I'm ready for you.
Breathing dust? No, it was a dog hair. So, no, it's not dust. Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's just, from my, I guess, perspective, the best thing you can do in life is get enough money to where you can do what you want when you want and not have to worry about whether or not you can pay your bills. I think that is truly the thing that will set you free. And then you can still work if you want to. You can pursue various goals if you want to, but there's nothing you have to do. And I think that once you achieve some form of that, that's when you can actually, you know, find some sense of happiness. Or at least, you know, you can take a deep breath and exhale. Feel like, I'm done. You know, you can kind of kick your feet up for a minute and be like, you know, maybe it ain't all that bad. But I don't know. That's becoming more and more difficult to achieve nowadays, so. How do you do that? You have to amass enough money. So, like with anything in life, it's all about the money.